And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to, and we are featuring once again, as we will all weekend, Sheet 4. This happens to be Team Webb from Peace River, Alberta, taking on Team Cret from Saint-Romuald, Quebec. The Dave Jones Mayflower Cashspiel is brought to you by Stanhope Simpson Insurance and Alexander Keith's Brewery. We also have participating sponsor Rockhead Wine and Beer Market. And you saw a little promo at the intro. Of course, the broadcast, if you are listening and watching, or probably in the other order, watching and listening, brought to you by the Curling Store as well as Strong Coffee Media. We've had our friend Sean Seneschal in the booth all day working the cameras for us. So thank you, Sean, and thank you to Scott from the Curling Store for putting this for both you guys for putting this together and bringing the broadcast to the fans. So as we get started here, we're just a couple rocks into the first end. Team has hammer. They are throwing the yellow stones. So this is Philippe Menard's second stone, putting up the corner guard. And I may as well introduce the rest of the team to you. So I mentioned lead Philippe. Second is Eric Sylvain. Third, Philippe Lemay. And of course the skip Martin Crête. A lot of you might recognize most of this team as the longtime Jean-Michel Menard rink, and Jean-Michel taking some time off, and so Martin moved up to skip. And here we see on Team Webb, that second Steve Byrne. We'll reintroduce you to lead Damien Nass, and on the brush is also Dean Darwent, and of course the skip Scott Webb. So here we go, first end. Team Webb with the red stones. They do not have hammer. Looks like they were going for the come around there. Am I right?
Looks like it. Just over curled just a smidge.
So I've watched a few games on this sheet today, and I can give everyone a little heads up that looks like you're getting a little bit of curl across the center line, but then it seems to straighten up. So some teams are getting caught a little bit. There is a good amount of curl across that center line.
Looks like we're just going to take out the red rock here, maybe try to roll behind those two guards.
And we see some directional sweeping. We haven't talked a lot about that in the past year or so. It really came into play 2 and 3 years ago, where only one sweeper will try and actually get it to curl instead of stay straight.
That side seems pretty straight once you get out there a little ways, and almost no ice at all.
It does, for sure, especially when you up the weight. So the down weight shots have been curling a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as the weight has been upped, I saw one that was at up weight, the thrower threw way inside, and the sweepers were able to hold it out there. And that is exactly what just happened. So they actually overswept that, even though it looked like it was tight. And that was the flat way to throw it anyway.
Still showing probably the whole rock from the hack there, so it should be able to still get in behind there with any luck. So the weather here is a little damp here in Halifax. We're getting a lot of rain.
Beautiful East Coast night. What are you talking about?
That is true. It is a beautiful East Coast night, so I don't know if the rain will affect the ice at all, but
so same thing there, and that was Eric's second. They're playing a little bit of down weight, and the ice might need a little bit of warm up. The players threw a draw to the button for hammer, but didn't have a full practice. Just threw a couple stones toward the other end, so this direction hasn't been thrown on. And that's third Dean Darwent.
This one seems to be hanging pretty straight. We're out of the rings now, so.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that didn't roll in.
Looks like he's going to ignore that rock out there and try to come around now.
It's Philip's first shot. I'll just give everyone a little update. If you are following along in our events, it's the men's and women's events. We do have 5 other games out on the sheet. So in the women's side, it's Colleen Jones versus Mary McKetton-Driscoll, Kristen McDermott versus Veronica Smith, and on the men's side, of course, our feature game, Webb Crête. We also have Scott McDonald versus Stuart Thompson, Mark Dacey versus Ed Sear, and Kevin Ouellette versus Colin Thomas. And we can't promise we'll keep you well updated on those games, but we will try. Great.
We'll do our best. It's a pretty good come around, just a smidge deep. Can come down and sit on top of that right now. Pretty good crowd here this evening at the Mayflower Curling Club. I know it smells good. The food must be good here.
Yes, if you are in the Halifax area or surrounding and you want to come on out. We're at 3000 Monaghan Drive in the North End. And we're here all weekend. These teams were in semifinals to the A qualifiers. Both lost. Kret suffered a loss to Jamie Murphy, and Webb lost to Francois Gagné. Those games, those A qualifier, that's the first of 2 A qualifier games will be played tomorrow morning at 9 Atlantic. And the other one is Ian Fitzner-LeBlanc versus Chad Stevens. So those would be for the first qualifying spots for the playoffs.
Those will be good games too.
They will be, so you got to tune in.
You got to tune in nice and early. Have your coffee and sit in your pajamas and watch the game.
And we're going to be featuring on our broadcast the Gagné-Murphy game. Hometown team in the A qualifier. So while I was blabbing on, we see the Webb team made a nice freeze onto the Kret stone, the reds, or onto the yellow, the back of the forefoot, and then that one just rubbing the front. So for the team without hammer, it doesn't look so bad right now.
It doesn't. I wonder, on TV that hole looks bigger than it seems to looking at it here from our view, but
on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that's.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if that would work out, but
looks approximately the width of a stone from where we're sitting upstairs at the Mayflower.
Looks like he might. He's going to try to cap it off.
As a very last resort, if it comes down to it, I suppose Martin could play off the angle in the red that's on the side there. A little bit of a risk.
A little bit, yeah. It's pretty early to be on that. We've been, well, we might have it down pat by now. We threw quite a few rocks down that way. And we didn't get much curl, yeah.
And you can sweep it out.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like they're calling that guard. Not sure if it's a stone's width, but.
Pretty big discussion early in the first end here. It's setting the stage for what could be a very good game.
So Steve Burns in the house holding the broom for Scott Webb. And I think they changed it up a little bit. This looks like more ice than they would need for that guard.
Yeah, I think so.
They may be guarding a tap on the yellow. Now, if Steve would only put his broom where he wants the rock to go, it would help me a lot.
Yes.
Looks like it's nice halfway guard weight. Damien just staying with it to get that last bit, but that plugs the hole. And I don't know that Martin is even looking at that other hole on the left side.
No, he doesn't seem to like that side. He's looks like maybe the run in, maybe.
Could move the yellow stones if he runs the rock that was just thrown into the yellow. Good things could happen.
And this is, I missed. Yeah, this is his first shot.
Yeah, there wasn't a run on the yellow before, but there is now, which is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
You'd never like to throw your stone, be happy with it like Scott Webb probably was, and then go, oh shoot, I gave him a shot. I don't think a lot of players would play this. That's the other consideration here. This is his first with last rock, though. Got 2 stones in the rings, but not shot. Martin Krat.
Oh. Oh.
Picked his own. That was so close that really unfortunate to actually have it go that way.
Yeah, it just had to come a little bit more, I believe. So is that top one, when we looked at it, I couldn't quite tell real quick. Was it on the top red one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. But I think a really good chance to put another one in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Top 8 foot, halfway 8 foot to 12.
And you're right, when the weight comes off, it does seem to bury pretty hard there. So he may be able to wrap this one in there pretty tight. This is Scott's last rock.
Sweepers wanted to be on it, but that one's hanging. They almost need a little wick.
Oh, a little deep.
And unfortunately, that's not what they wanted. They wanted that to be above the tee line because that leaves this draw open for Martin to get his single point. And I would hazard a guess that Philippe and Eric were watching that rock go down the sheet just to see what the speed was like so they can judge this stone.
So the last rock of the first end, trying to basically sit on the pin for 1.
Sweepers indicating the weight is up.
Doesn't seem to be curling a lot. Are we going to get luck, maybe a little wicky-ticky in there? Nope. No.
They really need to. That one hung out there. So the weight actually probably wasn't too bad, but they actually promoted the red stone in. Ends up being, very unfortunately, a steal of 3 against the team with hammer. So that's 3 for Webb. They'll take the very early lead, 3-0.
Looks like he released it well. It just didn't seem to come across there.
Yeah, and Sweepers thought the weight was actually up, and that would explain why it hung, but it looked like the weight was pretty good.
Yeah, it seemed pretty close to me.
So Team Webb will be up first. Probably a bit of an unexpected, they might have expected to steal 1, maybe 2 if the draw was missed, but not 3.
That was a real unfortunate break in the first end.
Any thinner and the shooter would have rolled in closer.
Yep. So first rock of the second end. Probably looking at a guard, I'm going to anticipate.
I'd probably put this one in. You don't need to worry too much about guards.
I guess they did get the lucky, well, not lucky, but the 3 in the first, so it does take a little bit of the pressure off.
That one was tight out of his hand, though. Over curled a whole bunch and ended up being a guard. Actually functions as a corner guard. So Martin will look for Philippe Menard to put a corner guard on the other side of the sheet.
We haven't played too many rocks down this side. Actually, I don't know if we played any rocks down this side. No, I think.
No, and this is, of course, the second end. There were no rocks played this way in the draw to the button. So this will be new. They probably put a little extra weight on it, but that ended up very nicely. It's over curling a little bit. But he Martin did have his broom on the same side of the sheet as that was curling to. Normally you see center line or a little bit on the other side of the center line. So he did want the curl. He's trying to encourage to go to the wings to get that late finish.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, no, that you're probably right. And this one I think we're going behind on.
Yes. Sweepers don't seem to want to go near it though. A little bit of heat on it. I think he threw his first one differently. It curled way earlier.
Yeah, that one's just a little heavier, and it doesn't seem to make that big break till it's almost right to the center line.
I like this call. I like the aggressive style of play. It's fun to watch, and Martin's not scared to make the big shots. So with that offset center guard and back house draw just now, well, game on. Let's put one around the corner guard. They threw it up for a reason.
Keeping it clean coming down, looks pretty good. Be a smidge heavy. I think it should stick around though.
Yeah, it's finishing all on its own. I don't think the sweepers needed help that at all.
No,
good
they
shot
didn't.
there on Philip Menard. So you can't remove the corner guard. And you don't have an ideal setup in there for Team Webb, but I'll just throw another one in there, make it more complicated.
So this will be the 5th rock, so we're playing the 5 rock rule, correct?
We are.
So we can't remove the first 5 rocks that are in front of the rings. So you can remove the rocks in the rings, but not ahead of the rings. So I think, let's see, did he tap as this is a guard, or was he coming in behind?
This is coming in. It looked like it was curling early, but it's straightened out a little bit.
That is a really nice shot, right behind the guard. Oh, actually, it wasn't quite as far behind as I thought it was.
I think it's probably half open, maybe a little better. Actually, you can see there it's a little better than half open. Yeah. It's available. The important thing here for Eric is to keep the shooter around. They do have a stone in the wing, so it's important for them to remember that. Here it's starting to go. Oh, and that's unfortunate to clip their own, although, just pushed it out.
I thought that was going to hang around on the edge.
If it curls a little bit more, it just rolls over and sits on top of that. Although it might not be as out as we think from up here. Straightforward takeout here for Steve Byrne.
Hit with a little flop. Oh, that was a really nice shot.
Well, that takes away any doubt over that yellow stone, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It opens up the draw again.
That's true. Both rocks are behind the tee line, so that's actually a nice setup for
So Eric Sylvain being asked to make that come around again. They saw it once this end. So here we go again.
So do you think Gary would be trying to freeze to it or just sit in front of the tee line?
I think being buried is the important thing here. I wouldn't mind it being at the tee line. They really do want to outcount the stone that's biting the 12 and be buried. It's not buried, but it's doesn't seem to be a concern for Scott.
No, he's ignoring it, I believe. He's going to try to sit on top of his own, was he?
Yeah, this is interesting. If this one isn't buried, and I suppose Scott's concern is if you try and hit that yellow, it jams on the back red. But this is a little risky, I think, playing this. If it's not perfect, it can be hit.
Well,
then you can open up a chance for a multiple score.
He could very well set himself up here for a double here. Oh no, that's definitely going to go in behind the guard. So that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's a little better buried than the last one that was in that position. You can see they're about half open now. So Martin switching to a freeze. There's a little too much junk in the house to risk kind of running back the red guard, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So freeze on the back one.
And I think it's probably better to get there sooner than later because at some point he may block that off. Seems to be working it pretty hard.
That one's just light all day.
Oh.
So a guard here.
Just a high guard.
Just covering the thrown stone. Complicates things a little bit.
Try to come in and freeze again. This is Philip's last rock.
So Philip probably added a little bit of weight on this one. Super Saiyan T-line.
Seems to look pretty good coming in there.
They probably liked the weight a little better. They were sweeping it quite a bit. It doesn't end up being shot, second shot. And if it had just finished a little bit more, maybe switch sweepers and put the inside sweeper on the push. Maybe could have carved it in a little bit more.
It's a nice little pocket there now. Actually, that looks like you could go in there a little tap and flop right in on top of your own. Whoops.
Yeah, I think Scott thinks it's open enough to actually play a little bit of weight at, although this is more of the draw ice. So looking to nestle into that pocket, already sitting a single. This is Scott Webb and his first.
Just letting it work now. The weight might be up a smidge.
It's got a little more rotation than Philip had as well.
Yeah, you're right.
So it just didn't finish. But ends up sitting 3, which is not a bad spot to be in when you're up 3.
Starting to get a little challenging in there. Both teams seem to be having a bit of trouble with that last little bit of finish. And is that one there on the left, is it open enough that they can get to the inside and flop in? Or?
Yeah, it may be, but I don't think with the weight that you would need to throw to get a flop.
To get a flop, yeah.
The other option that...
was he looking at maybe a double there?
They're looking at hitting. I was wondering if that's there, but I think it jams on the back yellow. It would open it up for a last shot.
Yeah.
But down 3, Martin would love to get 2. There's going to be a score this end. There's no blank happening. I think that's safe to say.
Lots of discussion looking at some different options, possibly running that top yellow one in. Not sure what you get out of that. Looks like they decided on a red, yellow into that pocket there.
I wondered if this one would come up.
Well, it's funny because I wonder that also, and it's not a bad little pocket there now. You most likely jam on something, whether or not you'll be shot at the end of it all.
At the very least, it may open things up a little bit. So I think the best case is the straight run back. But if you're off center, roll the shooter, roll the ones that are raised. You have to be careful on the line here. It will start to curl.
Oh.
Spreads things out.
Yeah, for sure. Opens up the scoring area a little bit.
Just had to curl up not too much more.
So there's definitely there's a couple ways to get in there now. I think we're gonna see Scott try to suck one in there.
Absolutely. Good chance to shut down that scoring area. This needs to be above the tee line, no?
Yes.
Behind is no good.
Scott is still sitting 3.
Yep.
He's drawing it right out of his hand. Oh, we're starting to settle back a little bit here. Oh, no, it looks pretty good, I think. They can get it to curve in there a little. Ooh, that's a really nice shot.
Nice position. So we have a draw to the side 4-foot for a single.
For a single.
So that looks like closer to the ice for draw to the button. Yeah, there we go. So just adjusting out a little bit. Now this, no one's quite thrown out this far, so this might be a little bit tough though. Sweepers will have to keep an eye on the rock. What happens, we do have high humidity here today. I think we mentioned, or Chris mentioned the rain, so tend to get a little bit more frost, and so that unused portion of ice might be a little bit stickier. They'll just keep their brooms down, keep the ice warmed up. Try and get it there for their skipper. They're really going on it to get it there, though.
They're going hard. Oh.
That is a big, another steal of 4 points here for Team Webb. Just struggling with the ice.
Yeah, that one hung pretty straight, but they swept it right out of his hand, and just a little light.
Yeah, I wonder if he added anything just for the fresh path there.
I don't know.
So big steal of 4. Webb will lead 7-0 after 2. It's a long game, but it's a lot of work to do.
And these are 8-end games, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So first rock of the third end for Team Webb from Alberta, Peace River, Alberta. I wonder if they have snow in Peace River, Alberta right now. We're going to see.
Peace River is pretty far north, north of Edmonton, similar latitude to Fort Mac. So I'm going to guess
it's
yes.
Probably a good. I have a friend of mine who lives in Yellowknife, and he had pictures on of Halloween night, and it was a snowstorm outside.
That's where you wear your snowsuit under your
yeah,
costume, right?
Yes, I remember that as a kid. So we're going to see some guards here, I believe, now. Nice corner guard, just covering the center of the 8 foot. About, what, 2 feet in front of the rings, maybe? Thereabouts, maybe 3.
So Team Webb doesn't want any rocks out front. They're happy to put every rock of theirs in play. And they'll start hitting. But this is an interesting, we haven't seen a game with this spread. So this will be interesting with regard to the 5 rock rule, because it really does come into play when a team needs points and is putting a couple guards up.
Yeah, just the first one that Team Webb threw was at the back of the behind the tee line, and that one was right on the button. So the 5 rock rule is, I guess, new this year for in Nova Scotia for all provincial events, we'll be using the 5-rock rule, and I believe all the
tournaments are following suit. Yeah.
Right. So, and Crow Canada is all 5-rock rules. So it'll be good. From my personal experience, I don't think it's going to make the game any longer. Possibly more interesting, and this could be a great example of how it could make it quite interesting to see this evening.
So here's where we see 2 corner guards, and then the team without hammer, of course, puts the first one in, the second one in, corner guard, and then the third one in. So the team with hammer has to ignore stones in the rings actively, has to ignore them.
And it's funny, I coach my son, and my son they're 14, and they were in kind of the same scenario. And this is exactly what kind of happened was they put up 2 corner guards, and the other team basically put their rocks around the 4-foot.
Yeah.
Then they spent the rest of the end trying to bail to try to get those rocks out of play. And being younger, it was challenging because they couldn't move 3 rocks at a time.
Right, it makes it tough, yeah. That's a nice draw there from Eric Sylvain. So now we see the peels coming.
Just missed the one in the house. Kind of rolled over there. Looks like we're going to try to go around that other corner guard.
Yeah, fortunate for Team Cret that the red rock stuck around. It's not covering the rock in the rings, but it is a piece of granite out front.
Yeah.
This one is breaking off the line hard. They're working hard to get it by that corner guard. Looks like they might get it by, and they do. Now switching sweepers to get the finish. Great shot. Putting some nice shots together this end, I have to say.
They are. Now, at some point, I would think, well, they're going to have to switch gears to try to get that one off the button, unfortunately. But I guess you could almost do a run back there. You might actually be able to get all 3 of them if you get lucky.
Absolutely. Big weight. We know they can throw it.
Yeah, that's true.
So hit and stay, and that's important for Team Webb. I think they would love to keep those rocks around in the rings if they're above the tee line. So we're going to see the change of gears here and going into a little bit of hitting. Getting to a point where we might have to do some of that for Team Cret.
Where are we into now?
Mate stones, yeah. Philippe Lemay's first.
Yep. Hit and roll in on top of that red one there. Yeah.
So if this is made well, the shooter will end up in that cluster or that line of reds in the middle. So this is very, very negative ice being called here. Remember, we saw a few float out.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Might even roll. Oh, a little bit behind cover.
A little bit. Yeah.
Worked out all right.
It did. Definitely pushed the second yellow one behind the guard there. The first yellow one, a thrown yellow one, I guess, is fairly wide open.
This one, maybe a little bit extra weight. They've got to get off their own red. And they do, but the shooter's probably going to roll out. So this is the break that Team Kret needs. They've got a stone in good scoring position.
There's a red guard out there. You can always come around the red one.
Yeah, shot stone, Martin's just indicating is the back red. If yellow was shot, it would be a little easier to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
They're going to have to deal with that back red to bring the side yellow into play. I think you have to move it now. The only issue is you leave a double. If you hit the top red, it's a steep double. Watching this team's interesting. I think the front three have a lot more discussions. Martin kind of makes a call, but if the team doesn't like it, they'll have a discussion.
I don't think they have much. Well, I guess you can come behind and do it one more time. They're kind of looking at possibly come behind that red guard. I don't know. My gut tells me maybe try to make the play for on the back one or hit the top one.
I agree. I think you have to give yourself the chance to get the two. I know you're looking at a deficit of 7 right now, so he's trying to generate 3 points here.
Yeah, for sure.
This doesn't have to make contact with the back one. The bonus is that it will open up the back one.
Yes.
This will be close. They're getting the curl out of it now. There we go.
Rolled to the open, but that's not bad.
No, that's what they were looking for. So now if that stone's hit, the back red's open. It gives them options. That looks like a much more friendly house than it did the past couple ends. Of course, Team Webb is okay letting that happen.
For sure, yes.
They're okay with giving up 2. They don't want to give up more than 2.
So the sweepers are indicating the weight is up here. Should run pretty straight.
Yeah. You got that right?
It did. Didn't think it curled at all. So I think you can't really see it. It's under the, there you go. You can just see the edge of the rock there. Yeah. So red is shot at the back of the 8-foot there. Probably try to make a play on that at this point. But a couple options. You could roll behind the red guard. Oh, maybe he's going to draw.
Yeah, he really wants 3 points here.
He does.
You can draw this, and Scott may just play the run back, and then if it's missed, there's an open hit for 3.
He's playing the draw.
I think you do need to play aggressively. If you were to hit the back red, you would have to roll, but you'd risk rolling
That is
far
true.
enough that you wouldn't outcount the other redstone.
No, well, for sure.
This is, I don't think we've seen this, this line though. We saw a wider in-turn draw earlier in the end. I think Eric Sylvain played.
So they were on that right away. You can see the center line coming into play there. Just going across now.
Sweepers managed that very well.
That is a very nice shot.
They knew it was going to curl. I wonder, they knew. Good awareness. That is buried.
It is, yeah. So looks like he's going to try to sit on it, I believe.
This is a tough shot.
It is very tough.
I thought Scott would try the run back because you can run your own stone back, nut it, sit buried. If you miss, well, you give up the 3, but if you miss this, you give up 3. And I honestly think the run back might be easier, but this does cut out the chance for the 3. It eliminates the chance that the second shot yellow counts.
Now, if you were to over curl, you could split the center guard a little bit, and you may get a little lucky and even guard that one in the back.
Yep, that is a good point.
Talk to the front end, and I think they might have given him some different ideas. It's coming back down to have another look at it.
I guess the other risk of the run back is jamming on the back red.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But it's it floats wide. I don't think you, I mean, the way that you miss it that way is to over curl, and it doesn't really happen on this ice.
There was some discussion, but it looks like they're still going to play pretty much the same shot they originally called, the freeze to the yellow one there on the right-hand side of your screen.
I think Scott can get shot out of this. It's tough, but he doesn't need to get shot. Second's fine. The important part is to be partially buried.
Might be a little warm. It's coming across though.
So it'll be a double for 3.
It's not a terribly easy double. You kind of got to almost hit that right on the nose. The top one. He's not anticipating much curl here. Rock, actually it looks good at that angle. That angle looks really nice.
I think the question is, it's been floating a bit on the right side of center, and it's been curling across center. We saw one that they actually overswept to make it curl. But I think we'll see a lot of weight on this. So last stone, looking for 3 here, Martin Kret.
Oh, stuffed it.
Oh, and he gets the 2. That's too bad. Really good effort.
That was
it's good he got the 2, but it's too bad.
Yeah.
Just didn't get the back one.
Just had to curl up a little bit, I believe. So 7-2 lead after 3 ends for Scott Webb from Alberta. Definitely see a center guard here.
100%. Yeah, I think we'll get some rocks in play yet again. Just going to go across the sheets and give a little bit of an update for everybody. In the game that is Colleen Jones versus Mary McKetton Driscoll. Jones up 5-0 after 3. Couple steals there. In the Kristen McDermott, Veronica Smith game, McDermott down 1-2, Smith up 2-1, playing in the 5th end. On sheet 3, we've got Scott McDonald, Stuart Thompson. McDonald leading 5-2, playing the 4th. And Ed Sear versus, who's the other team on that sheet? Mark Dacey. Sear up 3-0, playing 4. And Kevin Ouellette. And, oh, Scott McDonald, the other, the other Scott. Kevin Ouellette leading 2-1, playing 4. That was the slowest update ever, but very hard to tell who's throwing what color.
It is. It can be a little challenging.
You can follow all the scores on worldcurl.com. They're updated live. And if you are looking for the live stream for any game, you can follow us on Facebook and find that. And it's also on the World Curl scoring page. There is a link to the stream for every draw that is broadcast. It's always sheet 4, so if your team is on sheet 4 and you see the little link to the broadcast, just click on it and you'll be able to see it. So the tick was attempted there, was it? And it
yeah.
put the stone into the house?
And he pushed him into the house, yep. So then...
obviously not enough weight, huh?
No, no. Just trying to remove the yellow one that's in play and roll into the rings. Trying to come in here behind these two center guards.
Heading toward that center guard. They need to get a bye, but once it's by,
going hard.
Should be good.
Oh, just by. Looks beautiful. Nice placement. So you can see how that actually over curled and is open, but Scott.
Can't believe how much that over curled.
I know, eh? I didn't think it was, but it is. So we're going to try to rip the guards away now.
Steve Byrne. Got a couple tuck sliders on this team.
See that?
Oh, good double peel. Shooter stays out front. That's usually what happens when the rocks are so nicely lined up. So leaves one guard. You can see the angle red-yellow. If there is a guard out front, there is a red-yellow angle to remove the yellow stone, but Chan's going to ignore that. He knows he needs guards.
Hopefully about halfway is what they're trying to get to, maybe a little more than that. Just blocking off the one in the yellow a little closer to the center line. Just trying to get it to curl over there.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Can't get much more separation between guards than that.
No, that's pretty nice.
I think Scott thinks Steve can see enough of that to make the double. I don't know if he can. Looks good from this angle, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I think the camera is a little offset. No, he thinks it's there.
I mean, even if he doesn't get the back one, it's not the end of the world. It's still fairly early in the end, so he could even just get the guard off.
This will be real close to good. Oh, and it goes all the way out. Who am I? I don't even know what's happening here.
It's a nice shot. So try to sneak another one around. That's a pretty high guard out there, but
very high.
yeah, other end of the ice seems like they might want to throw another guard.
Yeah, I like this call. You need the guard, even if it's not lined up. You get a little bit of a mistake or a guard left out front. That's a little better to come around. It's a possibility.
With the curl on the ice, it's fairly easy to get around that high guard.
This one's going to come in.
Right on the button.
Yeah, it looks like a great position, but I think it's accessible from either side just because that guard is so high.
Yeah. So he's got two options. He could rip his own guard off, or he could make a play on the one in the rings. Personally, I think I might go for the one in the rings, because if you rip the guard off, I got a feeling they're just going to throw a little better guard.
Yeah, that's what we'll end up with. I think that's what they're doing. This is Dean Darwin.
Nice little shot. He's going to get a little roll. That's a nice little shot. So now it looks like maybe a guard.
Yeah, Philippe will do this again, just 6 feet lighter. This one looks like a little better weight. Even if it's in the top 12, that's all right. It'll just stop short. Good shot.
Yeah, it's a nice guard.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I know they're sitting two.
I thought he might try to rip the guard off.
Yeah, it's a total switch. This is very aggressive. But the team did not question that at all, so they're in.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity if you make it, I have to say. If not, well, might be giving up this deal.
So I guess sometimes, is it hard to make that switch mentally from being aggressive to, he didn't get the curl out of that he was maybe hoping, but that actually worked out really well.
Yeah, sitting two on the 4 foot. I think we'll just see, we'll be down to skip stones now, so it's Martin's shot, so maybe go for that same draw. They'll have to adjust the ice, of course, and Dean was just heavy on that. That bumped 2 stones all the way to the 4 foot, so it was definitely back house weight. This looks like the tougher path to navigate because you see all that red, but it's the natural way for the curl from left to right to come around the top guard first. So the draw is the call. When you're down points, you tend to draw a lot, huh?
Yes, for sure. Just keeping it clean. Not really touching it. It's got to start to come here. It's not going to get past that top red one.
That one has had the same thing happen as Dean's did.
Yep. That's a bit unfortunate. I think that side might be completely blocked off now. She's looking at some sort of a raise.
So for Team Webb, I mean, you're just trying to prevent the easiest shot to score for the other, or to steal for the other team. They're already sitting 2. Maybe that top one's in.
Yeah, I don't know. So we gotta, I mean, I guess they could come behind the guard there, the yellow guard on the right. They could do a raise of some sort. Oops, there we go. So, or he could just block it off, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I think the easiest stone for Martin is to promote the one just thrown. So this looks like a guard. They're still giving lots of ice, though, and given that 2 stones just ran very straight there.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be promoting their own, given that.
Okay, could be, yeah.
I think that's a good call. It kind of blocks off.
That'll block
It does
off.
the same as the guard, protects them, but just protects the 2 from inside the rings instead of outside. This is just a guard, and this one's curling, which is interesting. So any kind of weight, it's taking the curl out.
Yeah, because actually that's almost over curling, is it not? A little, maybe?
Yeah, I think it blocks the shot effectively.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can't.
So all Martin has is a draw to the 4-foot around a tight guard.
What are we looking at? Was it full? Oh, yeah, pretty much full 4-foot. You got to be.
Yeah, and the guard is only guarding the button and a little bit of the 4-foot, so there is room to get in there. He's basically drawing to the button.
Yeah. This is Martin's last rock. Boys seem to be going on it pretty hard.
Yeah, Martin came up light here in the second end. Same thing here. Sweepers didn't mind the weight, but this is just wide out. So this will be an early end for our game, folks. We're going to have handshakes. The final, we didn't end the 4th. It'll be a score of 7-2 for Webb. So Webb will move on, and Cret will drop to C bracket. Yeah, we're going to have to sign off, but thank you for joining us at the 2018 Dave Jones Mayflower Cashspiel, presented by Stanhope Simpson and Atlantic Alexander Keith's Brewery. We'd also like to thank Curling Zone and Strong Coffee Media for the broadcast, and if you follow us on Facebook or check out Curling's World Curl, you'll get the link to the stream for tomorrow, which will be at 9 a.m. Atlantic. So we will catch you in the morning. And so thanks, Chris Mosier, for joining. And my name is Selena Thompson, and thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.